Joey found
that this is never going away
Yeah, mine.
because it's going to be put in, like, our poor kids. I said it. Oh, God, I hate people.
How's dad's refrigerator?
Not good. Yeah. Two more in the last 2 days.
Is it time? Can we start? Oh, it's 6:01. Okay, we're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order because it is 6:01. And we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. And I did not ask anyone to say the pledge ahead of time, so I'm going to ask Dr. Wilson to call on somebody or to do it himself.
I'm going to do it myself. Thank
Okay.
you. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There's no comma.
I know, but
There's no comma.
we just do a comma. Okay, moving on, we're going to go to minutes for our regular scheduled meeting from June 28th. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion from Mr. Hart. Do I have
I'll
a second?
second.
A second from Mr. Fleetham. Any discussion? Hearing none, I will ask Ms. Boggs to call for the vote.
Lane,
Aye.
Boggs is an aye. Doolin,
Aye.
Fleetum,
Aye.
and Hart.
Aye.
Oh, I got Johnson,
Same.
abstain. Hobson,
Friends, since I checked in late and I don't know what we're voting about, I'm going to abstain as well.
okay. Motion carries.
Okay.
regardless.
Number 4 is the call to the public, and I do not have any slips here, so I don't believe we have anyone who wants to speak to us today. So we will move on then to the consent agenda, number 5. I would like to make the motion to combine A through I of the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion to combine. Do I have a motion for the items? Oh, do I need to vote on that? Oh, yeah, sorry, I skipped a
Thought you
step.
made the motion.
That's right. I made the motion, second by Mr. Lane. Any discussion on combining?
No, we should probably just
Vote on the
vote the
motion?
whole thing.
Okay, works for me.
Made and seconded.
Okay. Any discussion? That was easy. Ms. Boggs?
Lane,
Aye.
Boggs is an aye. Doolin,
Aye.
Hart,
Aye.
Fleetum,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Hobson.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next.
Okay. Item 6, personnel. Do I have a motion?
I'll move we adopt the personnel proposal as presented.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second by Mr. Johnson. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll have Ms. Boggs call for the vote.
Lane,
Aye.
Boggs is an aye. Doolin,
Aye.
Hart,
Aye.
Fleetum,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Hobson.
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, number 7, action items. We have A and B, so we will do A first. Power campus expansion. This is Dr. Wilson.
Mrs. Doolin, board members, it's a pleasure to see you all tonight. We're rounding the corner towards completing the project out at Power Road campus. The finish line is at the end of sight, and we're expecting to take ownership of the aviation building prior to the start of second semester. And then we will complete all of the project, start by the beginning of next school year, by August. And so in order to facilitate getting across that finish line, we're back tonight with the final GMP, GMP 2.3.2. Now, there's 2 parts to this presentation. Oftentimes, I put together presentations, which we did here, with wonderful slides and tons of information, and I'm completely prepared to go through that whole presentation because that's what we do. But instead of just launching right into it, I've decided that I would give you kind of the down and dirty portion of the presentation and then have some discussion. And if there's need, I can dump into the entire presentation. So I'll kind of start just with the nitty gritty of it, and then from there we'll see whether or not I get the opportunity to go through the whole presentation. So we're at the point in which we're coming to the governing board for GMP 2.3.2, which will complete the project. Big picture, to kind of walk you through where we've been over the past 18 months to 2 years. The budget started off at $38 million for the project. This does not include the FF&E, this is the build cost. We came to you in June for GMP 2.1, which was $9.2 million. That was for the garage. If you'll remember, it was also in the garage phase of the project that we had the excavation and the archaeological dig that we needed to also go through. That 9.24 did not include the cost associated with that archaeological dig. At the time, we opted to capture the cost for that through our contingency and through our efficiencies and our effectiveness. In 2.1, we also had some dollars allocated towards future work that we needed to accomplish that we did get done in 2.1. So those funds rolled into future work in 2.2 and 2.3. In December, we came to you for 2.2, which was the aviation building that we're expected to finish in December. The GMP was $14.9 million. Remember also in 2.2 is where we approached the conversation about expanding the third floor aviation, as well as the central plant, updating the central plant and making repairs to the central plant. That 14.92 was not that did not include the build out of the third floor, nor did it include the renovations and the upgrade in the central plant. We came to you in May 2.3.1 for almost $1 million, and the purpose of that was to try to get ahead of some of the lag time that we were seeing in the industry in terms of procuring resources for the project, for the vet science project. That was approved, and now we're here tonight for 2.3.2, which will complete the project. 2.3.2 is $15,313,756. The central plant upgrades that we agreed to were $721,000, and the build out of aviation, which was part of the discussions we've had two prior board meetings, is $739,744,000, for a total cost of the project to be $41,036,636. Now you can see that there's a difference between the 38 and the 41. As a reminder, the differential is divided into two areas. Of that differential, 1.4-ish, 1.5 million are requests that we had: the upgrade on the central plant, the repair on the central plant, as well as the build out in the aviation. So the actual overage cost on the project is more like a 1.5. So the question is why are we 1.5? We talked, I believe, the last time about the rising escalation cost of materials and products. And I believe when Brett was here, he talked a bit on what the industry was saying and the forecasting. What we found is that the inflation or the escalation cost on materials is about at a 9%. And so the overage cost of the project, that 1.5-ish, is due to the escalation costs as a result of our COVID experiences. So whether it be labor, whether it be materials, whether it be the lack of materials, and so looking for alternative solutions is the reason for the escalation cost in 2.3. So the board approved 2.1, 2.2, GMP 2.3.1. Tonight we're here asking for approval on GMP 2.3.2, which would be in addition to the repairs and the request we made for the aviation. So the total request tonight is $16,774,535, which would complete the project as is and allow us to stay on track towards completing by August of 2022 the vet science building, which would also allow us to have the cosmetology building, our space reconfigured, and as well as the health sciences, the vet assistant, the central plant, as well as the third floor on the aviation building built out versus the shell space. So a lot of words I just shared right there, and I got a whole presentation if you want more of it.
Can I would like to just clarify in my own mind. So right now, our big number is 41 mil. So does that include the vet tech building? That's everything that's on that whole thing?
Yeah, so
Parking structure, aviation, central plant,
yeah,
and
so
that other building and site improvements.
So the 41 million is the totality of everything that we brought to you. It's the aviation building, plus the third floor build out. It's the central plant remodel and improvement. It's the vet science building. It's the garage. It's the archaeological work that was done and excavation that was done. It's the third floor on the aviation. It is the site
Pretty much
improvements.
everything we've discussed.
Everything we've discussed, yes.
Okay.
And which includes the escalation cost. If you remove the escalation cost and you remove what we've requested, then we're right at about that little tick under the 38.
Okay. What about adjacent ways? Where are we at on that?
So it's my understanding, and I may lean on McCarthy or Don or Neil, it's my understanding that in relationship to getting adjacent way dollars, is that your question? Or
Well,
just in general?
Just in general.
Yeah.
Do we have anything, agreement between City of Mesa, ASU, an IGA or something? And then have we sniffed around to see what dollars are available for that?
So that we are in constant work with both the City of Mesa and ASU in relationship to the entrance and the exit of the Power Road campus. Obviously, part of that improvement is going to be borne by us. I think the question becomes, is there a part that can be borne by other parties that are going to be there, Mesa and ASU? And that's part of the work that we're doing with them now. I know that there's a traffic study that is being completed that will kind of point towards whether those improvements need to be now, or can they be delayed until we have a potential third building out there? And both of those potentially leverage the opportunity for Mesa or the ASU to help with some of those costs. Ideally, the goal would be to have a second exit out of that campus so that we can have two entrances and two exits, so that as we grow, we don't have the traffic issues. It's my understanding that as a CTED, without having bond dollars, that we don't have access to the adjacent way funding. But that doesn't mean that we still aren't working to provide partnerships with those that are going to be out there to help build space that not only we're going to need, but future partners are also going to need.
Is there any access or egress to the east onto the main part of that campus? Not our campus, but the greater AS, whatever's.
Eventually there will be, and that's
But there's not some little cut through or something like that means road, or are we just kind of in a cul-de-sac and that's that?
There is access through there, however, ASU has some work going on, and whether or not that will continue that way.
That's all right, yeah, go ahead, everybody should hear it probably.
Sorry, I get excited. There is access going through ASU's campus. However, they have some kind of work going on in there right now. So whether or not that will remain to be accessible, we're not sure. But as of right now, there are roadways that take through the poly campus of ASU.
Okay, are they paved or just,
They are paved. It's the existing roadways for the housing that was in there.
okay, so they're actually on the master plat in the streets?
Yeah, I believe they have a master plot plan of what the new streets will be at some point in time, but they haven't alluded to us of when that will be.
If we wanted to twist arms somewhere, who's the one that's calling the shots? City of Mesa, ASU?
ASU.
ASU, yeah.
ASU. And one of the conversations with ASU is, and I mean, this is a true statement, that we're the first partner that they have out there, right? And so we don't feel obligated to pay for what others that will come, but at the same time, we're going to set the standard, and they're going to set the standard of how they interact with those that come after us.
Well, with the access and egress, the rising tide's gonna lift everybody's boat.
Absolutely. I think the question that we're still wrangling with is who pays for that rising tide. And I think that we have a compelling case that there's a part that we should pay for, but not the totality of it.
Agreed. I think City of Mesa should participate, and ASU, but, so, is there a distinct advantage financial-wise or otherwise to do it earlier rather than later?
That's part of what we're looking at. Yeah, that's,
I know.
that's part of what we're looking at in the transportation study. I think that depending on how that study comes out, I think there may give us a leverage, one way or the other. I think that when we, go back out there again, I think that creates an opportunity to potentially kind of drive the need for some of those decisions to be made. I think one of the challenges is that ASU is still in the process of kind of getting their master plan finalized. So they're wanting to make sure that whatever they're going to expect from their future partners and tenants is in alignment with what we're doing, but they're trying to figure that out as well. So I think that currently where we're at, I think we stand in a pretty good position to be able to leverage discussion with them about creating opportunities that benefit them and us, and it's jointly paid for, not solely paid for by us.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing none, do I have a motion?
I'll move that we adopt the GMP 2.3.2 proposal as presented by McCarthy.
So I have a motion by Lane. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
A second by Hart. And we
Can I-
already, yeah.
So just for clarification, the GMP 2.3.2 is inclusive of the dollars needed for the build out on the third floor, as well as the renovation and upgrade to the central plant, which would be the allotment, the dollar allotment, I think of whatever that, I don't have it in front of me again on the presentation, the 16.
Well, in my thinking, we're allocating another 15.3 million to this project then.
So you're allocating 15.3 million for the build out of the third of the vet science, but you haven't yet approved the central plant repair and replacement nor the aviation building. We've had those discussions. You haven't allocated the approval of dollars for those. So the total cost now is 16,774,535, and that does the GMP 2.3.2 as well as the central plant repair and replacement and the level 3 building aviation build out.
So is that intended to be part of what we're acting on tonight? Because
Yes.
there's no backup here that shows those numbers other than what's on the screen.
Correct.
So the intent was to have you, I mean, we've had the conversation about the central plant a
Yeah,
number
I
of times.
get
We've
it,
had the
but I just want to be
conversation.
real clear what we're voting.
Right, so my intent tonight was to have you vote on all of the items so that we're done with the procurement, so that it would be the 2.3.2, which is the 15,313,756, as well as the central plant repair and replacement that came in at what we had been talking about, as well as the aviation building under what we had talked about for the 16,774,535, which completes the procurement and expenditure for the Power Road campus expansion.
All right, I should probably restate the motion then.
I'd like to make a point here. The reason is because the sheet that we're looking at, spreadsheet, doesn't have,
Any of
it
that-
doesn't have the central plant aviation totals in here, so that's the difference, so.
Yeah, so I'll restate the motion. So I'm going to move that we accept the GMP 2.3.2 as documented here with addition to a central plant upgrade, third floor build out, and any other little odds and ends to the amount of $16,774,535. I don't know if I said that well, but
I would have just said a motion to approve the GMP 2.3.2 and the remainder of pending alternatives.
we could do that, but we'll just go with my fumbling.
I like your fumbling.
I like your
Jay.
fumbling. I'll second that motion.
And I'll second it.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask Ms. Boggs to call for the vote.
Lane,
All right,
Boggs is an aye. Doolin,
Aye.
Hart,
Aye.
Leadham,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Hobson.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries.
Okay, moving on to subject B of 7B. This is for additional satellite program approval of automotive technologies at Westwood High School. Do I have a motion? Do you want to address the board, Dr. Wilson? Or
Mrs. Doolan, members of the governing board, this was an error on our part. This should have been included in Mesa's original program approvals last meeting. It was left off the sheet, so this is an issue that we brought and would like the program approved because it was submitted on time.
Okay, do I have a motion?
I also move.
I'll
Motion
second it.
by Mr. Lane, second by Hart. Any discussion from board members? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote.
Lane,
Aye.
Boggs is an aye. Doolin.
Aye.
Hart,
Aye.
Leadham,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Hobson.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries.
Okay, moving on to action item A. This is a call for executive session. We will be going into executive session. The motion will be for 8A, B, and C. Do I have a motion to move to executive session?
I'll move to go to executive session.
Do I have a second?
I will second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll have Ms. Boggs call for the vote.
Lane,
Aye.
Boggs is an aye. Doolin,
Aye.
Hart,
Aye.
Leadham,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Hobson.
Aye.
Okay,
Okay, we're going to move to executive session. I'm sure we're staying here, yes?
Yeah, we'll stay here.
Okay.
You guys
You
don't
wanna
need
take
to
a
hang
5-minute
out. willing to. We certainly need to compensate her for time, so, but.
It's gonna be a lot of work. It's gonna be ugly with the Board of Nursing, especially if they have that friendship.
That's, we can
No one
probably short circuit that thing as a conflict.
So we're
personal
gonna,
conflict
we're gonna
on that
turn,
person.
we're gonna go back to live, so, just so you're aware.
Thank you. Well, welcome back, everybody. We're going to go ahead and resume our session, and we are going to go to number 9. Go ahead, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that for 9A, B, and C, that we are instructing the superintendent and director of legal affairs to proceed as discussed in the executive session.
I'll second that motion. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask Ms. Boggs to call from, Boggs, I don't know who Ms. Boggs is. Ms. Boggs, to call for the vote.
Lane,
Aye.
Boggs is an aye. Doolin,
Aye.
Hart, Fleedem,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
and Hobson. Hobson,
Say it again louder.
Hobson,
Oh, aye.
That's okay. Okay, number 10, superintendent's report.
Members of the governing board, just a couple quick brief items. We have teachers back on campus beginning today. So it's exciting. I mean, as much as we can't believe it, we're 3 weeks out from the start of the school year. And we're gonna roll teachers, every week for the next 3 weeks. We are gonna have a back-to-school breakfast and a back-to-school lunch. I don't have the dates on me, but I'll ask Tammy or somebody to reach out to you all. I think it'd be beneficial if everybody wanted to come, or if just some of you wanted to come. I think there's value in the students or staff seeing you guys outside of just being up here on your dais. So, we'll reach out to you, see who's interested. Enrollment is still trending upwards, which is exciting, although not as much as it was before, but we're still forecasting a positive growth, and that's exciting. So that's it.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Closing items number 11, calendar. Does anyone have anything for the future calendar besides something that I
Yeah.
still am going to ask to be on there? Can we put salary schedule back on there so we can get a discussion on that? I know it's not for this year, but for, okay. Anything else?
As a note, I'm sorry. go ahead.
Schedule a meeting to.
Yeah, so I'll work with Tammy to reach out to you guys. I know some of you are scheduling or are gonna be out of town, but I do think that sometime, maybe even as early as Thursday this week, if we could try to pull something together. I don't know if it's gonna work or not, but she'll work out, if not, in the first part of next week. Okay?
Thank you.
And we can do virtual,
We
right?
can do
Yeah,
virtual, yeah, we can
absolutely.
do Zoom, yeah.
Yeah,
I'll be out of
virtual's
town, but I
always
can do Zoom.
Absolutely.
I'll be here.
Okay, nothing else. I'm going to move on to 11B. Adjournment. Do I have a motion?
I so move.
Second?
I'll second.
Got a second from Mr. Fleetham. The first is from David Lane. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you all very much. I appreciate it.